Royalty in disguise. Put your fist up in the skies. Royalty in disguise. Put your fist up in the skies.
With everything that has taken place, Mars and Gemini. Mars is an energy of forward movement, which is a very warrior soldier mentality. And Mars also symbolizes war. We have Pluto, the planet that usually brings some form of endings and deaths, station in Aquarius. Aquarius represents the collective. Aquarius is also mental energy. As we are entering into the solar eclipse of April 2023, coming up very soon, and there is a high chance that war will go to much higher intense levels. Whether we know it or not, everything is everything. There is a law of one, and we all interconnected. Now, I have been sitting here meditating, praying, and waiting to receive guidance before I proceed with an intuitive update to help us navigate and understand what is happening. I'm not going to make a prediction, but I am going to share the dream that I had last night on April the 18th, and this dream continued throughout April the 19th. In this dream, I saw Barack Obama, and he was at a table that kind of reminds me of some of the past meetings they have had with the World Health Organization, or one of the summits that they go to. And there were a lot of other officials and leaders, diplomats there, at least 50 people at this really long table. As I'm standing there, I look down at my hands and I'm like, okay, I'm here. This is me. I'm lucid. What's happening? What am I here to see? And I looked to the left of me and I saw some people that I know who are very interested in politics, very interested in lawmakers and decisions that they make, things like that. So there was an audience. People were really paying close attention to whatever the meeting was about, which was a clue to me that that meeting was very important. I began to take a few steps to get closer so that I can hear what the meeting is about. And in that moment, I dropped down into water. And as I'm dropping in water, I began to struggle, trying to go back up so that I could see what the conversation was, and I couldn't. So, since I was continuing to drift to the bottom, I just let go and surrendered. Once I surrendered, I started to rise up out of the water, kind of like holding a ball underwater and you let it go and it pops up to the surface. And that's what happened to me once I surrendered. I was brought to the surface. When I came to the surface, I did not see what I saw. At first, I wasn't in the same place. To my surprise, I saw a huge black bear floating in the water. It had died. thinking of the symbolism of a black bear, you can't help but wonder, does this connect to a country that uses a bear as their symbol of power? The ability to go into the four-dimensional space to gather information for what's occurring in the third-dimensional reality, it allows us to be a step ahead of what's happening so that we can prepare. As I stated, I will not make a prediction about this dream. I'm only sharing the symbolism. But what I can say that I feel would be helpful, if you are swimming in water, if you find yourself in emotional, chaotic, treacherous waters, and this is those intense emotional highs and lows that we are experiencing now. Sometimes continuing to fight to be right, continuing to try to prove yourself to people, can be to your detriment. And I know many of us who have discovered the areas where we have been wounded, where we have been mistreated, betrayed, abandoned, and lied to. Navigating the choppy waters requires a certain skill set. The skill sets that we developed in the 3D experiences, which includes our childhood conditioning, our coping mechanisms, and the wounds that have held those coping mechanisms and beliefs in place. What are you struggling with the most? Is it internal war and conflict, or external, or both? Asking yourself these questions allows your I Divine Self to communicate an answer and solution. So spending time in isolation leads to an I solution. Okay? Now, this is a strategy that I have not talked about yet, and this will be in the guidebook I am preparing for people who are on the journey of transmuting their trauma and generational patterns into an beautiful alchemical way of being with yourself in love and compassion. But I want to introduce this to you today because I'm being led to do so. Spend some time alone. And I know for some of us that can be difficult depending on what your home environment is like. If that's the case, if the bathroom is somewhere where you can get a little bit of alone time, do that. You don't have to get too caught up in where you are. Just make sure that you take time out to go within. And once you go within yourself, notice the emotions that you are feeling. Notice the thoughts that fuel those emotions or follow those emotions, and journal them. Once you have done this, release the judgment of what you observe show up in you. If we are judging our emotions as good, bad, and we can't see that there may be a purpose that we have yet to understand, let go of the black and white thinking, because emotions are not good or bad. You don't have to hold on to that belief anymore. They are what they are. Now, these emotions will either serve your highest potential or not. If you are observing yourself and determine that that particular thought that you're having is not serving you, hot potato the thought. The hot potato strategy is to release it. If it's causing you discomfort, drop it like it's hot. Release it and let it go. And yes, as someone who's recovering codependent, sometimes when you feel you have been hurt or betrayed by someone, it's difficult to let it go because your mind is thinking about the situation over and over and over again. You may be thinking about things like what you should have said, what you didn't say, what you're going to say next time, and what decisions do I need to make because of this negative interaction. I get it. This is the ego attempting to create safety. Now, the ego consists of the more childlike ways of perceiving reality. So a lot of times we think that things are personal and about us, not realizing that whoever's on the other end of that is going through something too. And they may not have the ability to communicate their emotions in a healthy way, which may lead to projection, gaslighting, drama triangles, and trauma reenactments. And that's okay, because all of us are going through something, and it's so easy to forget what someone else is going through when the intensity of what you're experiencing it just drives you into a place of fight or flight, freeze or fawn. With this eclipse, we are going to be able to see the obvious effects of certain beliefs and patterns. As those are coming up, practicing releasing judgment, observing, and simply allow your inner child to be curious instead of making a judgment. Let me give you an example. With this solar eclipse energy, we can be pretty hot-headed and pretty quick and go from 0 to 60. And if this is something that you have noticed in yourself, you want to take a break, take a belly breath, not chest, belly breath, so that you can calm your nervous system, pause, and allow yourself to calm down using your breath. Ask yourself before you speak to yourself, this thing that I want to say or do, does this reflect someone that I'm proud of? Or does this reflect my wounds and the way I develop defensiveness to protect myself from a perceived threat? Remember, in the dream, the bear was dead. Okay, so most of us experiencing fear, lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my. Fear can be healthy or unhealthy. But seeing that dead bear allowed me to feel much safer in those waters of uncertainty. I didn't feel like what visually was a threat could actually harm me. So I want you to practice being calm, reminding yourself that you are safe, using your grounding exercises so that you are able to move forward in a way that makes you proud of you. That way, you will not be depending on others in your life to show you that they are proud of you. once you begin perceiving your triggers in this way, your inner child is more active in your day-to-day life because you're being curious. You're asking questions. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Right? So ask these questions. Allow your inner child and your ego to participate in a conscious way where you are mindful of your energy, of the way that you are perceiving and projecting. I believe this eclipse is going to bring forth a lot of projection, a lot of gaslighting. We may see narcissistic traits in ourselves and others reach an all-time high. You must know this is temporary. You must know that you have the power to regulate your emotions irregardless of how others are treating you. I need you to repeat this after me. With your hand on your heart, I have the power to regulate my emotions, irregardless of how others may be treating me. Feel that? That's new me. Stay. You are commanding the new version of you to stay in the middle of a trigger, in the middle of your limbic system, your nervous system going haywire. You may feel the fight. You may feel the flight. You may feel the freeze. You may feel the fawn. The choice is yours, and each time you choose to respond as a creator and not a reactor, you become more confident in your ability to create healthy boundaries, to know when to surrender, and how to navigate and disarm toxic situations. For those of you who may be new to creating ceremonies and rituals, is what we call them. These are rituals that we do on repeat to establish safety, to be grounded, and to reprogram the subconscious mind. That's the purpose in rituals. What we do in our day-to-day life creates sacred geometry. It creates a pattern. This is also called a mandala. With this pattern that is created, you create a grid system which attracts whatever is a vibrational match based on the activity you repeat day to day. So instead of giving you ideas for a ceremony that you can be doing to connect with these deeper parts of yourself, bringing forth compassion and love, and to release unnecessary fear and judgment, division, and that need to be defensive. One thing that you can do is do a fire puja. If you are new, or maybe you would like some help, follow the link in the description. For $1, you will get access to all of the steps of a fire puja, and we also recorded a fire puja for you. So you can watch the fire puja if maybe you're in a situation where you don't have the supplies to do it yourself, or maybe you're living with someone and it may be a bit overwhelming to try to do all of this, depending on people who have different beliefs. Maybe you live in a smaller apartment and you don't feel comfortable because fire safety is very important. Because Aries is fire energy, and because we are in the furnace right now, burning away impurities so that the ashes become the foundation for the phoenix to rise, which happens over and over again. So follow the link to Patreon. You can choose any tier that you want to, but the fire ceremony is on every single tier. The higher the tier, the higher the information that you receive and the more information that you receive. Choose what resonates, but we made sure that meditations and the fire puja, which is just a ceremony combined with a petition or prayer, is available for you. I don't know where I would be without these tools, honestly, because where I come from and how I grew up, many of those beliefs I inherited were doing me a disservice. I have just now arrived to the point of being able to allow others to perceive me sometimes in the most insidious way possible and still be at peace and okay because of the work that I do on myself and the repetition of healing through my ceremonies and my rituals and my prayers. I meditate daily. I chant mantras. I use affirmations and mirror magic to look into the soul of my being and connect. And these things have had such a profound impact on my life. In case you are in the 3D Matrix Detox course or the chakra camps with the Inner Child Healing course connected to that chakra camps, this is a great night for you to go there and dig into the material. Take some time for yourself and work through the material. Aries energy is about focusing on yourself, self-improvement and self-mastery. So enjoy your solar eclipse in Aries time. This is a rare energy. We maybe haven't been here in a decade, and astrologically, World War II, the Civil War, the Geneva Project, so many of these things that I've talked about in Instagram posts and on the blog, on the website, the civil rights activists, all of these things are occurring right now. You are an empath like me, whether you know that you are or not. All of the content that I create is with you in mind, with those in mind who are sensitive to energy, to not overwhelm, and to be able to walk at a pace that is more palatable. Okay, because modern life is continuing to speed up. I mean, AO keeps creating programs that's making us speed up, and now people can write books in 10 minutes, and that definitely can feel like pressure to other people who are desiring to do things the natural way and not the artificial way. But there's a benefit in it all. It's all about balance. So I'm not here to predict, anything about that. Now, I do have a metaphysical lectures, several of them on Patreon, about what's happening and how these different variants affected our mental health collectively. That's on Patreon as well. So I want to thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so more people can find this information. And to those of you who have invested in yourselves, taken the courses, I want to congratulate you. Even if you have not done hardly any work, I congratulate you on making the decision to be able to access information to help you transmute any energies that are no longer serving you. That means something. And hopefully this will inspire you to get back in there and work through that course. Okay? Now, I'm going to go back into my day. I may or may not be back. I don't know. I will be doing my own fire ceremony tonight. There is a masterclass coming up for dream interpretations where I'm teaching you how to unlock your highest potential in your dreams. And many other elements have been added to this based in a lot of shamanic journeying and Native American ways of connecting with different dimensions, as well as Mayan astrology. And I just pull from many different places, personal development. This is what I love to do to help empower people to become the best version of themselves. So you can sign up for that masterclass. I will also make sure that link is in the description. Get on our email list. Become a member of the website so that you are in the know. And I hope that you are continuing to love on yourself and love on yourself more and more and more, because you can't ever love yourself too much. Continue writing new verses for the song your soul came to sing. Man, your third eye has just been kissed. Namaste. Namaste.